Probably a delivery. Go back. Go. Thanks. Probably getting something from Amazon. Sure. So you could keep your knees lifted the whole time. Obviously, this is going to require some more effort. And then inhale and exhale with the knees up the whole time. You may have to take a break. But then I'm going to ask you, when you get to your next exhale, if you lift the knees, lift them all the way up and find your down dog. And then pause there. And know that you never have to lift your knees up for down dog. Go. Silly dogs. And then, because if your knees are down, it's puppy, right? All right, so turn the heels in and the toes out a little bit, and then turn the toes in and the heels out. And just sort of do that a little bit. And just, kind of see how far you can turn them. And then come back to your knees for a second. And then take your right hand up to your heart and start to twist open to your right, and then let the arm slowly follow. And then if you want, you can take the right hand behind your back. For some people, that right hand can go to their left hip. Don't force that. Sometimes it just means you have long arms. Or if you can't do it, you have short arms, and that's okay. And then try to breathe here without sinking into your left shoulder. So really push away on that left hand. And then we'll take that right hand down. Curl your toes under. Take an inhale. When you exhale, lift back up to a down dog. This time, turn your toes, all 10 of them, to the right at the same time. And then bend the knees so they also point towards the right. And then push your right hip up towards the ceiling. See if you can get a stretch all the way up your right arm, side body, waist, somewhere. Somewhere there's a stretch, hopefully. And then turn your toes back forward. Maybe take a rest on your knees for a little bit. And then we'll meet with our toes to the left. Knees are going to bend a little or a lot towards the left. And then push away from your hands. And pretend like your left hip is going to go up to the ceiling. And the more you bend your knees, I should say, the more you push, in this case with your left hand, generally the bigger sensation you feel, usually. And then we're going to come back to our knees when you're ready. The left hand comes to the heart, and then we'll open up to the left. Take a little stretchy stretch here. Push away with the right arm, like, shoulder to ear. Try to keep some space. And then the left arm could open up. And then when you're ready, come down. Good. So one more thing we're going to do in our down dog, and then we'll find ourselves standing. We'll find your down dog shape when you're ready. And then you may place your feet closer to the center of the mat, maybe even together. Or if you want to keep them wide, you can. That tends to be more challenging. So make that decision when you get there. But your right knee is going to lift up towards your chest. You could do this on your knees, by the way. Little FYI, your left knee could totally be down right now. You'll be doing the same thing. Right knee into the chest, and then pull the right knee back towards the sky. Your leg is back. And then you can open your belly button up to your right. And then you can pull the knee into the chest, this time all the way up towards the front of the mat. Your shoulders will shift. And then you can inhale, open up. You don't have to take your leg as high as I am. You can keep it really low. And then exhale, shift forward in a plank with your knee in your chest. And maybe just one more of these. If this is too much, you guys know you can always come down and chill out. No big whoop. And then when you come forward into your plank, you can either drop your left knee or take your foot back into plank and drop both knees, right? So however you want to do that. And then give your wrists a moment. You might need to do some shaking around or some rolling around. You might even have to shake something else, like your hips or your head. Ah. All right, so again, you can stay on your knees. Let's find your dog. Left knee into your chest. Keep your leg bent and pull your left knee to the sky. Doesn't have to be super way up there, remember. It can just be really low and you're just playing with your balance. And then open your belly button to the left. And then as you exhale, draw your knee in and shift your weight forward in a plank. And then if you can do 2 more with me, go ahead. Inhale. You can always have your right knee down for this. And then exhale, knee forward, shift. One more time. Try to keep your right toes pointing forward. I mean, they can turn a little, but. And then exhale, pulling the left knee forward. You can take your knee or knees down at any time. If you want to hold a little extra, it's available. We have time. And then when you're ready, come to an upright kneel. And then this might be a good time to pull up your pants or grab some hydration. And if you have blocks or some sort of substitute, place them towards the front of your mat. And then if there's anything you want to do with your arms or shake things out, you can do those things. Okay, so from our kneeling shape, the right foot will step forward. And then we'll take our hands on the blocks or on the floor, depending on what you're looking to do. And then take your back leg up for a moment. And then find your lunge. And then find a comfortable place for your lunge. So this is a good time to look down and say, I think my feet need to be wide, like they're on like train tracks, or I think I need my feet to be closer together, like in proximity. So it's up to you. Then you're gonna bend both legs and start placing your hands on your legs and use your belly to start to lift you up to a stand. So you're gonna come up to a lunge. And if your back heel needs to come down, that's fine. You don't have to lift it up. And in your lunge, you're going to have a little lean forward rather than pulling it way back. So a little bit of a lean forward. And then from this shape, you're going to pause, you're going to hold. And then back heel turns down on the floor. Your chest is going to start to turn towards your left, but your front knee ideally continues to point forward. And then as you turn, you may have to scoot your back foot out a little bit, make some micro adjustments, and then palms up. Reach your arms for warrior 2. So the thing about warrior 2 is that the front knee tends to buckle in. If you can't prevent that from happening because of bone structure, then just turn your toes in a little bit too. That's all. Just have them be lined up. Otherwise, try to point things out or forward. And then we'll come backwards for peaceful warrior, also called rainbow warrior. Your left arm is optional. Mine's reaching forward, but you can hang down your leg if you want. And then from here, we're going to come forward. You're going to place your hands on some support. Scoot your back foot up as much as you need to. Find a warrior 3 shape briefly. And then step up to the front of your mat. You can place both feet down, or you can balance on your right foot. And we're going to find tree pose. Okay, we've already done this. We just did it laying on our side. So when you do tree pose, like I said, you could be sitting on both feet. You can have your left foot on a block and turn your knee out. Use your chair if you have one, or your wall. And then don't do this, don't hop with that, but I'm gonna lift my foot as high as I can without using my hands and see where that takes me as I go out. That's a lot of work in your glutes and your hip muscles, but guess what? Your low back actually likes that. And then, I mean, I don't know if yours personally likes it, but it's good to use your muscles that way. And then when you want to, you can use your foot, your hand, to put your foot wherever you want. So your foot can be down here, and that'd be fine too. And then from your tree pose, if you want, you can lift your arms up. And rather than balancing by thrusting your chest forward and having your hips go forward, try to use the same principle lying on our side and have more tension, not a ton, but more in the front low belly. So you're pulling up rather than back. Good, okay. We've been here long enough. Try to take the foot off without touching it. See how high it stays, and then come down. And then for a moment, just do a symmetrical pose like chair, because we just did a whole bunch of stuff on one side of our body. So find a brief chair pose. If you want, you can ragdoll, fold over your legs, chill out with some bent legs, maybe wiggle your hips. And then when you're ready, come up and step your right foot back. Lean forward a bit, place your hands on support. Find the right lunge shape for you, wide feet, close feet, turned out feet, it's all good. Just make sure it feels stable. And then when you're ready, slowly rise up to your standing lunge. Try to get taller through the back, from the right back hip up through the abdominal line, rather than just throwing your chest and shoulders back. Good. Let's take the back heel down. Start turning your chest towards the right. Make any adjustments with your front foot, turning it in, turning it out, turning it forward. And then find your warrior two, palms up. Ta-da! Oh, geez, I almost fell. And again, feeling the front of your body and your inner thighs as your means of stability. Front and inner thighs. You're breathing. Make sure you're breathing. Good. Okay, let's find our rainbow warrior. Do what you like with your arms. Oh, that feels kind of good over here. All right, when you're ready, come back up. Turn forward, find some support. You can step your back foot up to the front or the middle of your mat, or you could propel your leg up for a brief warrior three. Step to the front of your mat and decide if you want to balance on that left foot or put both feet down as you prepare for your tree pose. And then taking the foot wherever you want. It could be, low, could be high. And as we did earlier, press foot into leg and leg into foot. So now your foot isn't trying to bowl you over. And then pull up through the front line of your body. Arms can be crazy. Good. When you get sick of holding it, take the knee forward first before you drop the foot. And then find a chair pose. And feel free to rest your arms like a downhill skier. And keep your head up, like literally the back of your head pulled up. And then to turn your gaze and chin forward. If you need to make this a little bit more challenging, just pull up the belly a tad bit and reach your arms behind you. And then you can sit as low as you like, as low as your knees and hips will allow for. And then we're going to all find ourselves back on the floor, however you can get there. So whether you just sit right down or you need to use your hands, it's all good. Excellent. So you're gonna, actually no, we're gonna be on our backs. Forget sitting, we'll be on our backs. That's what we're doing. All right, so as you lie down, pull the knees into your chest first. Maybe do little rolls, or I don't know, something that feels good. Just you're feeling good right now, whatever that means for you. And then you're going to cross your legs eventually, right leg over left. Cross your legs like you're wearing a very, very short skirt. And if your legs don't cross that way, that's all right. They don't have to. They can cross below at the shin, and you would just pull your shins in. But if your legs are crossed, you're still going to pull your shins in. However, what you're not going to do is you're not going to lift your head up. If you have to lift your head up to do this, then it's not going to really do what you want it to do. And for some people, just pulling the shins in with their legs crossed is going to offer a lot of sensation and opening. But make sure you don't feel pinchy, burning feelings, right? But then you may start to pull your shins out a little bit. So I'll show you what this looks like from this angle. I feel like it's the best angle. So you can have your shins in super close, or you could start kind of lifting them up a little bit and sort of pulling the shins towards you. Okay, this can really torque your knees. So if you have sensation in your knees, you don't want to do this. Or you want to take the hands closer to the knees, which requires more arm work, and pull from there. Okay, you can grab your feet too. So in any case, the less your legs are bent and the more your shins are like so, the more your outer hips are going to feel something. Make sure it doesn't go into sharp feelings, okay? You don't want sharp pains in your hips or back. So this is called cow face, right? And you can sway side to side. Good. Then you're going to place your feet down, or at least your left foot's going to go down because your legs are still crossed. And then take your hands behind your back, or behind your head, sorry, like you're at the beach. And then if you're going to start to like draw your belly in and flatten your spine, and then lift your chest and nose towards the ceiling. Notice that you're not trying to pull your head down. Your nose is not going towards your knees. It's going up towards the sky, and then come down. You could also float your legs like so and do the same thing just a couple times here. If you're feeling like you don't really want to put in very much effort right now, then you can skip right to the spinal twist, which is basically taking your legs to the left. Otherwise, 2, 3, maybe 5 of these little crunches. But again, you're not bending at your neck. Your neck is staying long, and you're pressing your belly down towards your spine. And then when you're done, the left foot comes back to the floor, and then you can spinal twist. If having your legs bent is too intense, go back to our original position in the beginning of class with your legs together side by side. And if you need support under your legs, you guys know, just throw a blanket or a pillow, bolster. And then you can let your arms stretch out if you want, move back. You can turn your gaze to the right and then see if that feels okay. Maybe you look up. And then when you're ready, we'll come through center. Find like a happy baby, or legs up. And then we'll do side 2 when you're ready. So this happy baby's feeling so delightful right now. I might stay here a little bit. You're going to cross your left leg over your right when you're ready. Okay, so pretend like you have that mini skirt on. And then shins are fine too. Okay. Otherwise, cross them high, pull them in. You may be having a realization that your left butt cheek is really tight, you may not. That's my little epiphany. And then if you want to unbend the knees a little bit and pull by the upper shin or the foot, remember, you just want your knees to feel nothing right now. And remember, you're going to breathe while you're here. And for a lot of people, this is super intense. So if you can't breathe, you realize your body is like fighting, right? And it's not going to get any more mobile. It's just going to kind of like learn to fight. So please hold back if you're struggling. You're welcome to sway side to side, side to side. Do, 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 do. And then you can take your right foot down, keeping your legs bent as they are, taking your hands behind your head, chin up, shoulders down, belly pulled back as you come up. If you're skipping this portion, just go to your spinal twist, legs will go to the right, and you'll meet you there. And if you're going for the little crunches, you can also hover the leg as well. And remember, it's all about your midsection. It has nothing to do with your neck or anything. Not your eyes, your forehead is not scrunching up. There's not a bit of strain above the chest. And when you're done, boom, over to spinal twist land we go. If your legs cannot cross here, it's way too intense, your legs are just not happy, uncross, go back to the legs together we started with. You can turn your gaze to the left. And your arms are optional, they can stretch, they can come by your side. Good. Lovely. Now when you're ready, back to center. Now if you have a pillow or blocks or whatever, you got stuff. You got stuff and you got things. Basically, you're just making a little fort here, and you're going to take your legs cross-legged, like crisscross applesauce or sukhasana, and you're going to put them up on something. If this doesn't agree with you, just stretch your legs out and over, right? No big deal. No big whoop. Stretch it. So if you're doing the crisscross, the sukhasana, you've got one of your shins is on top of the other. So in a little bit, we're gonna change that crossing. And then we're all gonna meet with our legs stretched over. So you can use a pillow for this. You can use a creature of about 30 to 40 pounds. I've done this with my dogs before. And then just take a moment, like let your legs actually rest on the structure. Even if that means like my foot just fell off part of it, that's fine. Just let your legs rest so you're not feeling a lot of strain in your upper inner groin area, and you want that to be relaxed. And then we're going to change the crossing of the legs if you're participating in that portion. You can also take your butterfly shape, the Baddha Konasana, soles of feet together, but I'm going to stick with this, and then, let yourself fully relax. So you're going to stay down on the floor here a bit, and then I'll let you guys decide. Some of you might have to get going a little early. It's cool, don't take it personally. But I'll let you guys decide when you want to just stretch your legs out and find your Shavasana. So having the legs elevated and having something under your knees like this can be a huge release for the low spine in particular. So I want you to feel that you could even stay like this. If you're enjoying it, you could stay like this for your Shavasana shape. And if there's anything you want to do, you want to create a pose that feels good before you rest, feel free to use your creative freedom here to maybe do a little rolling around or something where you invert or you stretch the front of the body. Then you can come down to a little resting pose. So if you choose to stick around, and of course I'll call you out, but you can always stay longer too, right? This is a time when you have some freedom and you want to maybe use it to mellow out a little bit. And then wherever you're at and however you're resting, just kind of keep in mind that there are sounds that you can tune into and sensations you can use to keep you from sort of mentally wandering beyond this moment. Just letting the rise and fall of the breath come to its natural rhythm. can start to maybe internalize your awareness a little bit more. So just feeling how the chest and the belly work as your breathing continues. And then you can also feel how maybe your body temperature has changed a bit and the air around you, it may become more like obvious, the temperature differences like between, you know, upper body, lower body, body with clothes, without, like just checking in even with your eyes. Like if your eyes are closed, like what do you see behind your eyes? Just do a little scan of the senses and see what's going on. Just as a way to get a little bit more aware. And then when you're ready, you can start to make little movements and start to maybe roll your wrists and fingers around and your ankles and just sort of checking out what's going on with your legs and your neck. You can start to kind of pull your knees towards your chest one at a time, or maybe two at a time, and then rolling up or over. And you don't have to be seated now. Remember, you can stay there. You could be doing all sorts of things and nobody would know. Take a nap, right? And then when you do come up to a seated position, you might have a surprise dog next to you, like I do. And just trying to sort of recreate that sensation we were doing earlier, where we found that plumb line, like where our head was in relation to our tail. See if it's a little bit easier to connect with. If not, it's something you can play with, you know, today, tomorrow, rest of your life, who knows. We're going to take a few breaths together. And I'm just going to recommend that you, if you need to cough or yawn or whatever, sneeze, clear your throat, go for that. So we're breathing in and then breathing out. And breathing in. And maybe you sigh it out. Stick your tongue out. Wag your head around. Flutter your lips. Breathing in and out. I feel a sneeze coming on. And again. And let's just do one more. And then feel free to make that exhale out of your mouth as long as you want. I fear oming because I have a feeling I'm going to sneeze during it, so we'll skip that. But thank you guys for joining me on this rainy Friday morning where we could have all stayed in bed. And feel free to unmute yourselves if you want to send a message. You can say hi to Moo Moo. She'd love to say hi to you. Yes, she would. Come here. Come here. Thank you. It's good to see so many friends.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys and ladies.
Your dog.
And have a good weekend.
Thank you. You guys do too.
Bye. Thanks. It's so good to know you're here.
It's good to know y'all are here. Makes me feel like it's not really the apocalypse.